Hey guys, what's up? It's Angie B, and thank you for joining the Exodus Group podcast called Boldly Being Me. Again, I'm Angela, and I am Boldly Being Me. I was Jehovah's Witness for 21 years and got out, and this is the story and the process of healing. And I wanted to share it with you guys in the podcast. Today we have a great guest. She's a client of mine. She's the second love of my life. Don't tell her that. She's an awesome person. Devon, I'm sorry, she's second. She's an awesome person. She's been a great friend, and just as immediately as I met her, we were just instant soulmates, and I'm so glad to have her on my journey in my life and reasons and seasons and hopefully decades, because I hope it's just not reasons and seasons with us.
And
Denise, hello,
too,
how are you doing?
I am wonderful, Angela. And lifetimes too, don't forget, girl.
Oh yes, lifetimes, you're right.
Oh, thank you, honey, for the wonderful compliments. You're always so good to me.
Well, I have to be good to those who are good to me.
That is right. Your tribe. You've got your tribe, your Sangha. That's right, girl.
So Denise is a special person. I'm not going to say special like, well, she is special. But what I mean by that is that Denise did not grow up Jehovah's Witness. Denise has nothing to do with Jehovah's Witnesses. She never was one. But she has a lot to say about a topic that many of you guys are going through, and that is sexual trauma and child abuse and all that stuff. So as many of you know, if you've been on this podcast or if you know the ex-Jehovah's Witness community, the Jehovah's Witnesses as a organization has done a really, really good job at hiding pedophiles and hiding those who are, what are they called? Predators in the organization.
Predators.
And a lot of this comes from the two-witness rule. And if you're not familiar with the two-witness rule, if you were not a Jehovah's Witness, means that if I, as Angela, were to come up to the elders or the pastors of the congregations and say, hey, brother so-and-so did this to me, I would have to have another witness for the organization to take action against him.
Or to be believed in, right?
Or even believed in. Yes, yep. Exactly. So that's a lot, because as a child, you're led to believe that no one's going to believe you unless someone witnesses it. Witnesses, Jehovah's Witnesses. Anyway, so that is a hard, because really, who's going to molest somebody when someone's in the room? Like, really? And if you hadn't got that already, sorry about that. I should have put a warning out. If you got children in the car, if you're sexually don't like to hear sexual stuff, then please leave this podcast. This one's definitely deep on that. But it's a lot. So I asked Denise to come to the show today because she's a life coach, she's a counselor. And she specializes in sexual trauma and healing sexual trauma. And I think we have to heal that in order to move forward and in order to live a happy life. There's been plenty of those that I know personally who have been had sexual trauma and were not able to move forward in their life, or just get stuck in their life. And once they deal with that trauma, they're able to move forward. So Denise, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Ange.
So tell me about yourself. Tell me about your company, your business, all that.
Okay, so I have 4 boys. I'm married. I have 4 boys. I started working for myself a few years ago. Was in insurance for many years, and then I decided I liked the technology side, so I started an insurance technology company. And I also I have a couple things that I do that are my passion, and I feel it's very important to do what you are passionate about. Otherwise, you're not going to love what you do for a job, right?
Yes.
So I make soul healing bracelets with using gemstones, and it's generally when I can feel somebody's needing something, like if they have a broken heart, then I'll make something with rose quartz. And then I also do life coaching, and I don't particularly like to call it life coaching. What I like to call it is kind of like the journey to self-love, to finding your self-love, because I've been on this journey for so long because of my trauma.
Yes.
That, my experience, I feel like what I've been through and the heartache and pain and so on and so forth, and the journey to find myself and speak my truth, and, I am, my root chakra, all that stuff. I can help many others out there who just are, just surviving, and they're not thriving.
Right. I think that you hit the nail on the head about surviving and not thriving. There's a lot of people out there just going about their day-to-day monotony. And this is not my experience. Honestly, I didn't know that the organization was doing this until long after I was out. And I didn't know about this. And honestly, I do.
But remember something, girl. It's almost like with the Catholic. I grew up Catholic, right?
Right.
The same thing with the priest, okay?
Yeah.
So, being molested by a priest, let's say, for example, who's going to believe a child over a priest?
Exactly.
God, right? So it's just such a moot point. You can't even discuss it. So what happens is the victims then suppress it. I can't talk about this. Nobody's going to believe me. Oh my God, he's a clergyman. He's of the cloth, right?
He's got God behind him.
He's got God behind him, right? So then what happens is you go into this spiral of you lose touch with God, because you're like, well, why me? Here's a person of God. So why me? But remember something is what happens is we're all human at the end of the day, right? And so no one is in his image. No one is made in his image, right? In the sense of the perfectness. We have free choice, right? We have free will. So the choices we make, we're responsible for. So these people who abuse us, they're responsible for their actions. And they cannot use the whole, I'm a man of God or a woman of God or a person, a being of God. It's nonsense, because you have the free will to make good choices. And if you don't make good choices and you're going to be a predator to someone, it's not pure. It's evil.
So how does one deal with guilt and shame, Denise? Because
okay. I'm going to tell you my story.
Yes, let's dive into it. Let me tell you. I honestly think I was protected because my dad was an elder. Even though I know there are plenty of people who are out there probably listening to this podcast now whose fathers were elders and still may have had this experience.
Sure.
But again, like I said, I didn't know about this until I was way out of it. And then I want you to look up Denise, the Australia Royal Commission, and those who are still if you're listening. The Australia Royal Commission is when the Australian government literally had a 2-week trial of the Jehovah's Witnesses over two women who were molested, and then they held it. They hid it.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. And of course, those who are in the organization right now do not know about this because they lost the case.
Oh,
the witness lost the case.
And that's heartbreaking.
Exactly. The girls won. But yes, those who could be saved by this or who are experiencing this, I bet you, if you're going through this, you think you're the only one. And you're the center.
And you wonder why me?
And
why did that person pick on me? What was so special about me? And it's not really like saying, oh, I'm so special. It's what's wrong with me.
Exactly.
So my story is, so when I'm the youngest of 5 children.
Mm-hmm.
So as my mom says, your dad said that you were like the love child, like the whoopsie per se. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I think like my brother, who's the 4th child, they called him Babe because he was supposed to be the baby, but that's okay. You know, special joy, whatever. I'm glad to be in this world. I'm glad to be alive. So anyway, my youngest of 5, my mom came down with MS when I was 3.5-ish, maybe almost turning 4. She literally collapsed on a tennis court, couldn't move her legs, and she had to be rushed off to hospital.
Wow.
So she was gone for, I think, like 3 months. She had to learn to walk. So I was kind of in the care of, well, my dad had to take care of 5 children. He had a full-time job. He had to schlep, kids to sporting events and schoolwork and blah, blah, blah. So I was left in the care of my eldest brother, who's 10 years older than me. So you do the math. It's like he's 14. I'm 4-ish, right?
Right.
And I do remember vividly of the actions that he did. I don't know how it started. I can't, but I don't want you listeners or yourself to think that what he did was right, the action itself, but my mother was gone. My mother was my world. Like I was attached to her leg. Like she was I have this kind of pang in my heart right now when I talk about her. She's still alive. I love her to death. She's like my best friend in the whole wide world. But remember something, being a little person, and here she was, my world, and she's gone.
Right.
My daily life was just heartbreaking. So I was in my elder brother's care a lot, and that's when the abuse happened. Now, because my mom was gone and I missed her love and affection, this love and affection was coming from my brother, but it was a distorted love and affection. Now, remember, I'm a 4-year-old girl, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay. And, I just missed my mom so much, right? And now when I would think about it, I'm going ahead here. So after it's happened for probably 1.5 years, 2 years max, right? And then, he's 16, he had a girlfriend, whatever. It was his treatment after. He treated me horribly for the remainder of my life until I stopped speaking to him about 8 years ago. He treated me disgusting. I mean, the things he'd say to me,
right.
The things, it was mental abuse thereafter.
Right.
Like I was stupid, right? And I remember being 10 years old and watching him and my brothers play pool in the basement. We had a pool table in the basement. And him saying to my 2 other brothers, watch, Denise is going to be a slut and she'll be pregnant by 16. Like, I was 10, Angela. What am I going to, you know what I mean?
Right.
So he would instill crap in my head. I'm nothing. I'm stupid. I'm a slush. I'm a whore.
Mm-hmm.
Various things that happened. He was just a terrible, horrible human being. Very sharp with his tongue because he was very smart.
Mm-hmm.
And almost not a psychiatrist or psychotherapist to almost say like he's Asperger's. When they're so intelligent, right? It's almost like he was so intelligent but lacked empathy and was just a mean, horrible person. A narcissist, maybe.
Right.
Definitely. Oh, definitely. Anyway. But my whole life, I tried to please this person, right? Just please leave me alone. Please be nice to me, and it was just horrific. And, I just wanted to run away from home all the time. So as soon as I could, when I was 20 years old, packed up my bags, moved to New York City. And I was just wanted to run as far away from home as I could because I just wanted to forget my family. I wanted to forget the pain and the trauma, and
right.
I do have to thank God that I'm not a drug addict because I could see myself going down that road just to numb the pain.
I get it. A lot of people have. Yeah.
Yep. It's hard, girl, because it's just like you do things subconsciously because of the trauma, because of the subconscious wants to keep you in this fear, and it wants to keep you rolled up in this ball, this fetal position of you have to protect yourself, right? Because you can't be a prey again, right?
Right.
So in my 20s, I met my first husband. And I looked at him twice, right? Sexy he was, bless. Okay. However, he was a narcissist, right? So he would verbally and physically abuse me. But in my mind, this is what I deserved, right? This was my lot in life. So this is how my brother treated me. This is how this is how my husband's gonna. This is what I looked for. Unfortunately,
What's all you knew? It was your first.
All I knew, girl.
It's your
familiarity,
love, quote unquote, not your love, but the
no,
first
you're
way you
right.
experienced love. So therefore, like even with me, my first 3 or 4 men that I dated seriously were emotional abusive. God rest his soul, because my dad was emotionally abusive.
And that's what we knew.
Right, and that's what we knew.
Right, and that's what it's familiarity, and it doesn't serve us. That kind bad familiarity doesn't serve us at all, and it just it ends up destroying us. Right. Anyway, so 20s and 30s were numb. Divorced my first husband. I just couldn't take it anymore. It was just like, I mean, if I stayed, I would have. Honestly, I really do think, Angela, I would have committed suicide because I couldn't do it anymore.
I get you. Yeah.
I was like, I wasn't a person, you know? Sorry. So you always got to go through your pain, girl. You got to feel it. Anyway, then I met Aiden, my second husband, who's, he's a great guy.
Aiden
we
awesome.
Had our issues. We had our huge issues. I mean, I wanted to belong to something. That's what I wanted to always do, is belong to something or somebody, just somebody to love me.
Right.
Somebody to tell me I'm okay. So I was constantly looking for that external, tell me I'm okay, love me. But that's because I was so detached from myself. And that's where we get lost, because we detach from ourselves, because that's how we survive.
Exactly.
Right? So if you look at yourself in the mirror when you're hurting so bad and you go, ooh, don't want to look, hurts too much, right?
Right.
But you want somebody else to fill that void that you lack in yourself. So I, was, this is a great guy. He has a great job, and he's, funny and witty and blah, 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 smart. And I attached to him, and I didn't want to let him go. And I feel as though sometimes maybe he thinks that I may have trapped him, and probably so. Subconsciously I did. And so we had a rough 10 years. We really did. And it took like a come to Jesus for both of us to realize that we really do want to be with each other. But you know what I'm saying? So it's that numbness, just going through the motions of life.
Right.
But it affects everybody. And everybody that you're with and you surround yourself with, it affects them the way you feel about yourself. So if I'm numb and I feel like crap, and I don't, I loathe myself.
You can feel like shit. Yes.
Oh yes. But you know what I'm saying? It's it's like the osmosis thing. So anyway, when my dad passed in 2006. Now, I didn't have a great relationship with my dad. He wasn't a bad, he was a great, he financially provided for us. That's what his job was in his head.
Right.
However, he preferred boys. He would have been happy with 5 boys, right? And him and I didn't have like a relationship. We just were, he was my father and he provided a paycheck. And I don't mean to be so rude about that, but I would have loved for him to say, oh, you're my little girl and I love you. No,
exactly.
He was very cold. He grew up Italian, his parents are from Italy. Cold. I'm not saying Italians are cold, but his parents were cold.
So you know what I mean?
Right. So if he was angry with you, he didn't speak to you. So it'd be like, okay, so I'm oblivious for the, I'm null and void for the next couple months till he decides to speak to me. Anyway, neither here nor there. Nobody is perfect, right? Okay. So when my dad passed, and he had become very tender in his last couple months of life, because I think he knew he was passing, and the sweetie, and I love you. And it was like, whoa. And I was so appreciative of it. It was a bit weird and uncomfortable to hear that from him.
Right.
But I was grateful, because it was like, oh, my dad, this is what I always wanted. Anyway, after Dad passed, I had tons and tons of dreams. He'd come to my dreams. He would tell me how much he loved me. Like in one of my dreams, he built me he loved to woodwork. He built me this table and he made it in a heart shape and he spun it and he pointed to me, I love you. And it was just beautiful. And lots of his dreams have been amazing. So I started dream therapy with an amazing therapist, and I've been doing it for 11 years now, and really really working on the who am I? And and realizing that I love myself. Do you know what I mean? And it's not sounding like a selfish thing. It's a lot of work. Do you know what I mean? It's more about it's getting through that pain and hurt and what you feel, right? So the stuff we react to in the everyday life, you have a reaction and you're right?
Yeah,
in your head. And you feel like crap after because you just, shot somebody to hell, but it's more about our hurting inside. And it's more about the techniques. We have to learn the techniques of just to slow it down. And what is this for me? Like, why am I feeling this way? And then it always reverts back to our childhood.
It does.
So it hugely does. When you associate the pain, whether it be in your throat, I get a lot of pain in the throat chakra, Ange, because I couldn't speak my truth. So my throat will hurt. And it's like, I couldn't speak my truth,
Right.
So or I get a lot of it in my stomach as well, the unwinding of the stomach, of like all that angst, But I can, when I sit with the pain, I feel it unwind because it's releasing. And I always like to say it's like the onion effect, right? The layer of the onion. So when you're trying to hide something, so everybody out there, when you've had sexual trauma, you start with that little piece of layer of onion, and then you build on it because you're trying to protect and block it. I don't want to know it, don't want to hear it, don't want to think about it. Yep. But that layer, then an onion stinks. Like, oh my God, you leave it out, it starts to grow that green stuff, and it gets toxic, right? So you got this inside your body, and it's toxicity. So you're not living you're not thriving. You're just surviving. Your health probably suffers because you're such in an angst state of, oh my God, and you're always on edge. When's the other shoe going to drop?
Exactly.
I'm walking on eggshells. Oh my God. So your body is just a hot mess because you just feel. Now for me, my weight has been like a yo-yo, up and down, up and down, up and down, because I didn't want to be somebody's prey. So let me stuff my face. Let me stuff my face. Let me get another cookie. Let me get some ice cream.
I hear a lot about that. People with sexual trauma is that they put on weight subconsciously, not on purpose, but because they don't want to be prey anymore, so that they look less attractive, so no one wants me. But then you want somebody to want you because you want to be loved.
So you're in a catch-22 loaf.
Yes, a catch-22.
And you're in the angst state of,
and you have to deal with the sexual trauma first to realize that that's what that person did. That nothing to do with you.
That's when the guilt and shame comes in. So when you're thinking about it, why me? Oh my God, guilt and shame. Something is definitely wrong with me. Why did they choose me? Because I always say to myself, now I don't know if it happened to my sister. I have a sister who's the third child. She's very shut down. She's 6 years older than me. She lives with my mom still. And I'm not saying this is bad. My sister, that's her life is her life. She's very shut down though. So I always questioned if it happened to her. But now again, when I was like, why wasn't it Nancy and why was it me? Right? So there's something wrong with me. And so it was just hard. It was always this something. So what happened was negative Nelly in my head would go, there's something wrong with you. You're just, looking for it. You're disgusting. See, the self-talk is like killing you. It's literally taking like this big machete and cutting you into pieces, but it won't go through the whole body, right? It's just stabbing at. It's like that's swooshing you, right? So the guilt and shame happens, and you're always, and no matter what, whether it's professional or personal life, you feel the guilt and shame everywhere, and you feel like you're not worthy. You feel like you're not valued. Like, I don't deserve that, right? Oh no. I just want to stay meek. And because you're a personal trainer, the psoas muscle, right?
Yeah.
So that psoas muscle connects the bottom and the top part of the body, right? So literally, and by the way, I just learned about this muscle, but I love it. It's just so true what it does. It like literally puts you in the fetal position. So the psoas muscles gets weak. That psoas muscle gets weak when you're in such a state of anxiety and a state of self-loathing. You just want to crawl up in that ball.
Right.
So the psoas muscle, it can start to hurt, because you always want to be in that position, and you're not stretched out. You're not standing tall with your shoulders in your back pocket. You're just crouching down because you want to be little and you don't want to be seen. You don't want anybody to hurt you.
And you're protecting yourself.
You got it, my sister. Protection. You got it, baby. So it's such a hard life to live. It's just exhausting. So for people listening out there who this has happened to, remember something. You are unique. You are beautiful. You're on this earth for a purpose, and a good purpose. And those that have, those that have hurt us by doing these things to us, remember, it's them. It's not us. There's nothing wrong with us. There's something wrong with them. Completely. Mm-hmm. Now, I haven't spoken to my brother in 8 years, and I know, Ange, we're doing this manifestation project, and it says a lot about forgiving people, right? And I'm okay with forgiving him from a distance. Do you know what I mean?
And that's okay.
That's okay, right? I don't want to be in his presence.
I always tell people that I tell Jehovah's Witnesses this, because I forgave my parents a long time ago. Before my dad died, literally, I forgave my parents for shunning me, couldn't pick up the phone, all that stuff. But that doesn't mean that I had to go to their house and experience shunning me in their presence.
No.
Does that make sense?
Yes, because I'm very much about, you need to surround yourself with like-hearted people.
Right.
People who are empaths, people who are compassionate, people who are kind. Because when you get with energy that isn't the same heart, right? It's very draining on empaths like us.
Yes.
And it can suck, because it sucks. It does. It sucks the life out of us. It's true. It's that transference of energy.
But I definitely want you to go back to what you said, is that you don't have to. You can forgive the person. But you don't have to be still in their presence.
No, you can, within your heart, you can forgive them. I do. I forgive my brother. However, I don't want to be in his presence. Now,
the key, I think forgiving, and I just want to stay on this.
Yes.
This topic.
Yes.
It means that you don't have to carry the energy or the pressure of that.
You don't have to carry that anger, that sadness, that bitterness in your heart. You have to release it. You have to release it. And remember something. Once you can release and say, this isn't my fault. This was not my fault. And if the truth be told, I was telling my friend Doc Anthony this morning that I was coming on your podcast, and he said, what are you guys going to talk about? And I told him, and he said, I'm sorry that happened to you. And I said, Anthony, I'm not, because I wouldn't be the person I am today.
Exactly.
So I don't regret what happened to me. It is what it is. It's my story, right?
Right.
So I just want to tell your listeners very quickly, though. My brother, so there's 3 other siblings. I don't have a relationship with them because they don't believe me. I came out on my 40th birthday. Around my 40th, my husband had a surprise party for me. We lived in Vermont at the time, and my family drove up. My mother insisted that all my siblings come up. You need to be there. Anyway, my brother, who did this deed, he and my other brother, they just were talking trash about me the whole time at my party. And my friends were kind of like, your brothers aren't very... I didn't know this till a few months after the party. And my friends were kind of like, your brothers aren't very nice about you, Denise. And I thought... And they had never met them. Right?
Right.
It was heartbreaking. Absolutely hard. And I thought, I'm done. I don't need to be accepted by these people. They're not my true family. Yes, I was born into this family, but they're not my true family. And, like, I think if you were my real sister, Ange, I'd be the first woman president. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you and I are sisters. We may not have the same parents, but we are spiritual sisters.
No, I say that all the time. That this family that I have now is so much stronger than the actual family that I was born into. I'm talking about my maternal family, not my aunt, if she's listening. And I love being an adult now because I get to choose my family.
Yes, you do.
I get to choose who they are. And I'm like, yes, Denise, it's you. And I'll look at Devon and I'll go, that's my sister. He goes, you got another sister? Yes, I do. Get over
it. Bless his heart. Oh. But yeah, the family you're born with doesn't necessarily have to be your family. It's people, it's your tribe, as I said at the beginning of the podcast. It's your tribe. Your sangha is a yoga word or a Sanskrit word. I think it's Sanskrit. It's your sangha, your tribe. And those are the people who care and love about you, and you love them. So it's that it's that back and forth flow of love and kindness, compassion, empathy. That's what we need. It's to thrive.
Yes.
So I feel as though and I do have to say this as well, I did have a pivotal point in 2014. A friend of mine was dying of cancer, a dear friend, and I went to visit her. And she had, I went to visit her in Spain for 10 days because she thought it would be the last time I'd see her. It wasn't, thank God, but she put a mirror in front of me because I was at such a low point of self-loathing and just feeling like, what is my purpose? Because I don't want to be here anymore, right? And she took a mirror, not literally, figuratively speaking, right? Not literally, and just showed me, look at the beauty you have, look at the value you have, look at the worth you have. And it was almost like that parting gift she gave to me before she passed of, start to love yourself because you are amazing. And she is my angel, and I constantly feel her with me. So that was really my pivotal point of, okay, it's time to work on me. It's time to love me. It's time not to be selfish, but to bring everything back to self. Because once everything is back into self, it falls into place.
That's something they don't teach. We don't get to learn at the organization because I am a strong believer that once you learn yourself, you don't need to go to a building to worship God. If you choose to. You don't
Honey, God's everywhere.
I know that. But again,
God is everywhere.
If you're taught that God is in this building, God is in this house, quote unquote. Once you learn that God is within yourself, the church doesn't have a function.
Yes, I remember something, and I'm very strong about this, and I'm going to speak my opinion here.
Go ahead.
Church is man-made.
It is.
Religion is man-made. And I'm going to tell you something. I was just watching this great documentary on Netflix, Walter Mercado. He was this Spanish guy who did the horoscopes and things like that. But he said this wonderful thing, and what a soul this guy was. What a beautiful soul. He said, religion is kindness, compassion, and empathy for others, and the love for other people. It's not about, it's not about a place to worship. It's about who you are in your heart and how you express that with others and how you take care of yourself and take care of others and live in love and life. Period. And so, and as you grew up Jehovah's Witness and I grew up Catholic, and, we'd be in the pews every Sunday morning at church, and then you get that priest, like,
Right. You're still
I'm going to go to hell if I have sex before marriage, really?
Right.
What if I don't ever want to get married, so I have to be celibate? Doubt it, right? Don't think so.
Not happening.
No, but they place fear in you. God is not fear.
Exactly.
It's love. And that's what if people knew that, especially here in the South, right, Angela? What a better world. What a better world it would be, right?
So Denise, let me ask you a question in closing. How did you deal with the guilt and shame? Like what process did you go through to heal?
Lot of self-talk. Lots of self-talk. The self-talk, the negative self-talk has to change. You have to become aware of the self-talk. So when there's if there's negative in there, change it to positive. And it feels uncomfortable at first. It really, truly does. It's a practice. You're on your journey every day, right?
Right.
So you got to practice these kind, loving words to yourself every day. Talk to yourself like you would your best friend you love, or your children that you love, or whoever that you love dearly with all your heart, without judgment. Talk to yourself like that. Because if I can say, I know we're running out of time, Ange. If you've ever found people who are judgmental, it's because they judge themselves.
Exactly.
Yes. So whenever somebody judges you, go, that doesn't belong to me. Okay. Right? Send them out with light and love. That's all we can do. But when there's guilt and shame, remember, be kind and gentle to yourself.
I always say, and I say this to my clients too, because I always do a naked exercise with my clients. Not that I'm naked with them, but I ask them to get naked in front of the mirror by themselves after a shower and look at themselves and listen to what they say. And 9 times out of 10, what they say to themselves is something they would never say to anyone else. So that negative self-talk is very strong. It is something that we would say it to yourself, but why wouldn't you say it to someone else? Not even your words say it to me. And why would you say it to yourself then?
Well, because we don't love ourselves, my sister.
Say that.
Why would you say nice things about yourself? Oh my God, please don't show me. But that's the thing. Is a mirror. So to get rid of the guilt and shame is mirror work as well. And everything is uncomfortable at first. It truly is.
What's mirror work? I know
what
it
is. It's like you look at yourself in the mirror, right? Mm-hmm. And when I first started doing it, I go, oh, turn away, oh, because then you pick out the bullshit. Excuse my French, but you pick out, oh my God, I got the zit there. Look at that. Oh my God, my boobs are too big. Oh, disgusting. Blah blah. You go on the negative rant. So what happens is you've got at least find one positive, and you focus on that, and you speak with that positive. And then you build it up day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. It's a process. It's not like if I had a magic wand and everybody would be healed, that would be amazing. But that's not the process. You have to go through the pain to get to the gold. It's like being reborn.
It is
literally. It's like, I'm sure we don't remember going through the birth canal and being painful, but it is. I'm sure it was painful when we were little, right? Especially if you were the first baby with a cone head. I remember my first baby having that cone head.
They had a cone head.
True. But so it's like that painfulness because you're being born into the light again.
Denise, thank you so much.
Yes, my Angela. I love you
here today. We're definitely going to have you back on.
I would love to be back on.
Yeah. There's so much
techniques.
Tell me about your business. How can people find you if they want your life coaching services?
Well, I don't have a website at this present moment, and I apologize for the life coaching. Well, it's the journey to self-love. I think we're going to call it that.
Okay.
But if anybody is interested, they can contact you. And is that okay? Or am I putting on, because this is your podcast, my love, and I will have something up eventually. But anyway, Angela, thank you. I'm so humbled to be on. I love you dearly. I really do.
You are
with all my heart, sweetheart. You know this. And sorry if you heard Sophie in the background snorting. I apologize.
No, it's okay. MJ was sitting here digging into the carpet.
Oh, I didn't hear MJ.
Okay, good.
And now, how can I share your podcast?
So this podcast, you're going to be able to share. It's going to be on Spotify, Apple Music, all the things. So definitely share it. And
love to share it.
Those who want to get in contact with Denise, again, get in contact with me. DM me on Instagram, YouTube. Email me at jwexodusgroup. jwexodusgroup@gmail.com. And if you want to support our podcast, you can go to patreon.com. For $5 a month, I will send you holiday cards and birthday cards because we didn't get those. And I
love the card in the mail. Oh,
yes. I didn't
like people. It's like somebody.
A card in the mail was until like a year ago.
Exactly, Angela. Because somebody takes the time out to handwrite a card.
Yes.
And put its stamp on it and put it in the mailbox. I think it's a beautiful thing.
It's better than just Facebook HBD.
I know. A nice card written, even if it says "I love you so much," and that's all that needs to be done.
So if you want a card, let me know. Yes, I can't wait to be able to serve you guys more. But I know a lot of you are going through this, and we're gonna have Denise on more to talk about this. And if you want to contact her, again, contact me. I am NGB. Denise, thank you.
Thank you, Angela. I'm very humbled. Love you, girl.
Love you guys. You are stronger than you think.
That's right. Yes, you are. Absolutely.
See you soon.
Bye.